Okay, here we go. Episode 4 of Wistoria, Wand and Sword. This one is called The Eve of the Grand Festival. Oh, this had a lot. This episode was packed. This one felt like a longer episode, and I actually checked the time, and I think it was 25 minutes, so it's pretty standard, but it felt like they packed a lot into this one. We learned a lot more about Regarden. There's different districts, there's different races living there, and some history as well, things that have developed between the races over time, the relationships between the races now, the people living there. The tone of this episode was a little more weighted. It felt a little more serious. Definitely feels like we've had the period of introducing characters, getting to know them a little. Now it's like, now we start to feel things for them. Oh, and there was a couple of great one-liners that I'll get to. So at the beginning of this episode, we see some students doing magic tricks. I say magic tricks. Doing some really cool magic stuff in the academy. It seems like they are taking exams actually to earn credits. Will is fighting a golem. For some reason he's using a wand even though we know he can't use magic. Then he actually tries to punch it. Doesn't go well for him. And then one of the kids watching yells out, "Performance issues," which I thought was a great line. We also meet some upper institute kids. These seem like the pinnacle, or these seem like the top of the class type of kids, and they know it. These are the ones that have earned at least 10,000 credits. So I think we learned previously that you need 7,200 to ascend, or to qualify to ascend. But these ones have done it. They are very adept at magic. There was an ice mage who I think was called Julius. There was also an elf mage. I don't remember their name, and also like a lightning electricity type of mage. I also don't remember their name, if we even got their name. And then we hear about the Grand Festival. It seems like this is like a celebration of magic in the region, and it also kind of implies that the students will be battling each other using magic at this festival. The other reason why this festival is important and the kids are very excited about it is that it seems like if they impress certain people at this thing, they can just skip all the default qualifications to become a Magiavanda. And in fact, Colette mentions that there are watchers at these things, which Will dismisses as a myth, but it does seem like people might be aware of watchers and the fact that they work for the Magiavanda. Then Will and Colette stumble across an underground gambling ring, which was a surprise. It seems like some of the older students are betting on the Grand Festival, and they're betting on some of these upper institute kids by the looks. Just before they go in, this underground gambling ring is actually protected by some sort of magic barrier. And Colette says something like, "Oh, I could break this with force, but I don't want to. Kiki, why don't you see if you can break through it?" Kiki is the cat, so the little magical cat actually shows off some of their own magic. Colette literally just holds the cat up like this, its legs dangling, and I think it does a little concentration phase like and the barrier goes down. So I think that's the first time we've seen the cat do actual magic. So when they go down to the gambling ring, they see Scion, and we get the impression that Scion is there to sort of see what kind of odds they are giving him to win this Grand Festival. He's not happy about it either. In fact, he's not happy about anything. And Colette has a great line. She says to him something along the lines of, "What's the matter? Raging hormones making you rage?" I laughed at that one. And then we see Will working at a tavern, so it seems like he has two jobs. This tavern is full of dwarves, so I think it's the first time we see dwarves as well in the show. The dwarves work in mines, I believe. They're non-magical, and they come to this tavern every night and basically have a good time. Seems like they're very happy, joyous people generally, and Will gets along with them really well, maybe because they're both non-magic, they've got common grounds, living in this magical area. Oh, and Rusty is also there working with Will, keeping an eye on things again. Rusty, there's something going on with Rusty. So everything's going alright until some of these upper institute kids walk in, and we see Julius, the ice mage, I think his name is Julius, with two of his buddies. They're just generic tough guy buddies. Julius is an absolute prick. Julius walks in disrespecting the dwarves completely, basically saying they should bend to his every need and will, because they are not from this land. Regarden accepted them in because their own land was destroyed by the thing in the sky, which I cannot remember the name of, but the big evil, the big baddie, destroyed the dwarves' world. But some of them survived and they came to Regarden. But yeah, Julius just thinks they should be thankful to even be alive and be there, so he basically treats them like less than dirt. And he lets them know about it. He's very arrogant about it. Now Will takes massive issue with this. He grabs Julius's mates and knocks them out cold completely. But then Julius fights back, and Julius is really, really strong. Actually pins Will to the wall with some of his ice magic. Now the dwarves are really angry and they're watching this as well, but we learned that they can't lay a hand on mages because of their situation being kind of permanent guests in Regarden. I think they are fearful of the ramifications should they get into a fight with the mages. While this is happening as well, they show Rosti with a hand behind his back holding a wand. I told you there's something going on with Rosti, but he doesn't get involved. He watches. So Julius has Will pinned against the wall with his ice magic. Now it seems like he's going to land some sort of finishing move on Will, but then has a change of heart. So it seems like he wants to defeat Will in the Grand Festival for a complete public humiliation. Now going back a bit in the episode, it kind of implies that Will had some sort of bad experience at the last Grand Festival. They're held every 2 years, by the way. So the last one was 2 years ago when Will would have been 14. So for this one, he basically just wanted to be in the background. I think he was going to do some like kind of work there, but not perform or do any of the activities where he would be on center stage. But Julius seems to know this and decides that this would be a great way of humiliating him once and for all, and also getting him expelled, I think he mentioned. So yet again, someone's trying to get him expelled. Seems like they're really threatened, or either threatened or just completely disgusted by Will being non-magic. Now I realise why this one actually felt like a longer episode. It's because there was no post-credit scene. So the episode just ran all the way through and then we got some credits. And that was it. So yeah, I really liked this episode. I felt like I was starting to get more invested in the world and the characters. I really can't wait to see how this Grand Festival pans out. From what they show, like it wasn't like a flashback, but they kind of show, I guess it was a flashback. They show some scenes of what the Grand Festival kind of has in the past, and there are Harry Potter-esque races, but instead of brooms, they're on dragons, like little dragon looking things. We could see some cool stuff in the next episode. I'm looking forward to it. My video will be around about there when it's ready, so keep an eye out.